What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Crushing Small Stakes PLO. We are playing 10-25 cent here in Ignition, and starting off by flopping almost the nizzles. This is a board that I actually am going to check back with the ace of spades. Block a lot of the board. Kind of want to 3-bet this in position. I'm going to take a small stab at the pot. Expect mostly folds. We do get the wonderful raise. Obviously, we only have the third nuts now, but we're never folding. I don't think he's ever raise folding, so I guess we just stick it in. And we do take down the pot. Here, no club, no heart. Question is if we want to call and then just bluff any blank river, but I think that there is just too much going to be happening. That would have been one of the rivers we could have bluffed, but there's so many cards that we get bet into and can't do anything. Just let that one go. We're playing on a Monday evening here. It is a holiday though, so we might have some leftovers from the weekend in terms of softer games and more recreational players. I only just started the session, so we'll see how the stats build up and what players we can find that we want to target on the tables. I will be opening buttons pretty aggressively. I want to play as many pots as possible in position, especially with weaker players like this in the blind, but 8-6 deuce deuce is not going to cut it. I will also cold call a little bit more with weaker passive players in the blind, where I know that I'm going to be most of the time playing three-way. But this guy here, as we've seen now, he's 3-bet twice out of 2 opportunities, so it's probably not something I'm particularly going to be doing against him. We will be 3-betting the aces here. Not the best aces, but just not too many aggressive players behind that are likely going to throw in a squeeze for us against EP. Then MP cold call, and we flop pretty well. We block straight draws. This is such an uncoordinated board. I'm tempted to just bet like quarter pot or check. I just don't know what he can have. And then on that turn, obviously, we will be potting. A lot of equity could have picked up on the turn. Here, we're going to call in position. So now we can just jam the turn. I mean, I didn't realize the SPR was so low, not paying attention. And we do lose fun times. I mean, we have a pair, backdoor flush draw, straight draw. Yes, basically. Obviously, it's 2 pair. And he holds. So going back to this, whether we should have jammed the flop, be an interesting one to look at. SPR1, we're obviously less likely to slow play it, just because he's going to call it off with any equity. Do I think he calls it off with jacks there and a backdoor flush draw? Probably not. So I don't think we actually played it that badly. It'd be interesting to see what a solver thinks about that situation. 3-pair here against the super aggro player. The aggro pre-flop, not so much on the flop, and a pot size bet. I mean, no diamonds, blocking straight draws. You could honestly probably just fold against this player, but I'm not sure someone with a nut flush draw just pots on the flop. Maybe he does. Maybe he thinks he's going to get value from aces. And a half pot size bet on the turn is interesting. I will bluff this river. I'm blocking all diamonds. I'm blocking all pairs. It's likely as a straight, or I mean, likely as a flush. And we do take it down. And I will be defending against this guy who's got 100% VPIP right now. Not ideal that he is to our left. Given that he is the spot at the table, most likely. But we can overcall here with some nutted equity and check fold the flop. So on the hand, we did get stacked. And so ace 9-3 dry board. We were against Jack 8-9. I mean, turns the world. But I mean, I think I'm fine with the check back there. Definitely look that one up. Maybe even break down that hand. But with an SPR of 1, I don't think that the EV difference is going to be too different between checking and betting smaller. And that's something that you want to look at when you're studying spots and trying to figure out where you can make improvements to your game. You don't want to spend too much time on spots where the EV difference between two players is extremely marginal. You want to find bigger areas in your game where there are leaks or where you could be creating additional value. So figuring out exactly what hands to bet and check with that is probably not the best use of your time in a 3-way 4-bet pot. Just because that is not going to happen very frequently. And we very much whiff the flop 4-way here. And we will just be check folding to any action. If it checks through twice to me on the turn, I might take a stab. Even though we don't have a diamond. So when you get into spots like this, you want to evaluate how valuable your free card is. Do we want to turn this hand into a bluff already? And with one backdoor flush draw, I think we can bet it. If I had... Yeah, I think if we had like some backdoor straight draws as well, I would likely check, just because we have some more playability and some value. And we take it down the bottom right. But here, there are really no good turn cards for us, apart from an ace or a diamond. So I'm fine just bet folding there. And also, we're not always going to get raised. We can also just get called by a queen or a flush draw. What the main aim of betting there is, of the blockers, is that we block the raising range, and we don't get raised off our hand by like the bear nut flush or something like that, which wouldn't be ideal. Three-way here, no club, but very tough board to hit. In the big blind checks, I think he's going to play very straightforward. Oh, come get the bet off. So I think he just bets a deuce in the big blind with such a short stack. This guy could have it, some hands here, but is he going to call with bear over pairs, no clubs? We'll see. Again, can be very aggressive in position when stabbing. So when he checks again, with no clubs, I am quite inclined to pot this. The reason potentially not is that I do block a king and a jack. Okay, I unblock queens, but those are kind of like the snap folds that would fold the turn. So I have like kings and queens, and then when I pot size bet. So maybe a check back here could be good and bluff a non-club river. Because potentially an ace king jack is good. So actually I'm gonna go for the check back. It's kind of weak, but I'm just going to pull these weak kings. And secondly, we'll bluff the river. I don't think we need to bet a very large sizing. We can go half pot. Fold out some insta flush draws. He might find a call with an overpair or an 8. It's funny. Oh, this guy is clearly quite passive, which, I mean, look at his stats so far. It's only over a few hands, but yeah. He should find some leads there on the turn. Obviously, it's a dynamic board, but likely wants to bet the river. And when he checks, it should be the check raise, or either he should just lead. I think maybe in these sessions we'll start giving an update on the progress and win rates at these levels. Obviously not a hot start to this session with the aces set, losing a stack. So we are down in this session. But you can see, pull in the results that, pretty solid performance so far here. And as I was saying, this is going to be your issue, especially playing on Ignition with 18 BB per 100 rake. It's going to be very tough to beat, but as I said, the opposition is pretty weak if you know what you're doing, and you can see this all in adjusted BB per 100 of 31. We have been running pretty poorly, but it is what it is. A-side board, obviously going to be a board that we lead quite frequently. We have a queen blocker, we have the queen of hearts, no real additional equity. This is a board that we definitely just want to bet fold. We want to try and take it down here on the flop, and that's not ideal. We should have actually bet smaller. I didn't see his stack size, or wasn't paying attention. So now the best case, all right, let's see it. That's always fun. The middle pair jam and turning the two pair. But nothing you can do. We've got the money in the 60% equity. And we flop the nuts. Let's see if this player just decides to raise us again. That would be nice. It's not the best turn. We'll just keep betting though. There's still hands that can call. Can't have the lower straight. That is not great. So he helps us block some boats. But we're just gonna check here. No real sense in betting. Really, best case we get called is for the chop. We're never really gonna fold out our hand. So in this position, it's an interesting one. We shouldn't really be leading too much on this board, but this player behind, we can stack off against him, and we can put this guy under a bit of pressure by like betting 8 BB, so that if he flats and this guy jams, we can jam over the top, which makes it a little harder for him to play against. So when he does call or raise, he is stronger, and we can kind of fold to any aggression from him, and then if he folds and this guy jams, we can obviously stack off. And it's fun. It's probably a flop we should have bet. Can bet now with some blockers, get called by a queen potentially. This guy's a little aggressive. Can definitely call a check raise from this guy, and there it is. There are plenty of hands here that he could be bluffing with. We do block the raising range of current value hands like queen 9. Don't block queens, obviously, but we do have some nut outs, and we have some cards that we can bluff, so definitely not folding. And no reason to really bet here. We beat his bluffs. Are we ever be winning this hand at showdown? I think sometimes with his aggression factor, because what hands is he could have a set, sure, but since we did check back the flop, I'm just gonna check, and we do take it down. Yeah. So definitely make sure you have a plan when you're gonna bet pretty thin on the turn against an aggressive player as to one, what you're going to do if there's a raise, and then what river cards you are planning to bluff on, call down on, bluff catch. You don't want to just call against these guys with no plan, because there's a good chance that they end up emptying the clip on the river. We are going to defend. This is double suited, pretty trashy. And this is a flop we can actually lead. I don't like doing it without any diamond or backdoor flush draw, but... And this should be a half pot size sizing. That's just a misclick. So here we have top flat blocker, backdoor flush draw, and a 3-bet pot. We can definitely call pot size bet. Pot size bet against yeah, this was a mistake on my part again. A little all over the place today. This should have been a small bet like in the last situation. We could have put this guy in a tough spot. Now we're in a tough spot. But I am going to min-res and just get it in. And we do hold. This is a pretty bad card for my range. After I call the flop and check and he pots the turn. Jack 8, Queen, a little loose to even limp here, even though we do want to play as many pots as possible with this guy. We would call a 3-bet here with this hand in position. Likely always going 3-way. If we do get a fold. Against the small blind, I am going to lead this board. Against the big blind, I would be more cautious because this definitely hits his range more. We don't really have any blockers, but at the end of the day, this guy playing quite tight is going to have a lot of like kings, queens, jacks in his range, even though we do block those hands. I think that we're just going to get so many folds on a disconnected SI board. We'll open this if it checks to us, and you can isolate here. This guy is not playing too wide, so hopefully we'll be in the hand with positional advantage most of the time, but he does call. It's just not a great hand. I mean, we could potentially not even ISO with this hand. Could open it from the cuff. Yeah, I mean, leading into 4 people, I don't think it's worth bluffing. We don't even really have the right hand for it either. We'll just fold. We flop a king after limping. We limped from the small blind. I think with backdoor straight draws and over pairs to the 4 and the 6, we can check back here and hit a very nice turn. It's a little loose ISO, but this guy's pretty weak. And then on the ace, I think we get to polarize. Good card for our range, and we unblock diamonds and the other straight draws on the low end. That is a pretty good river. I don't think we're really going to get much value here, but we want to go for a large sizing. After we polarized on the turn, basically have nuts are air here, but unfortunately he likely has some sort of flush draw and snap falls. King, queen, 2 backdoor flush draws. We have playability, especially with the 10. This is a board that I would have a pretty high frequency check on. So I am going to check here and check raise if we do get a bet. We could even check call with the playability of this hand, depending on what this short stack player does. I think we do want to raise with 2 backdoor flush draws, and we're okay to stack off. It's a little dicey. 3-way though. This guy comes over the top, we're usually crushed. This guy we're fine getting in against. We'll be 3-betting the 9-10 Jack Queen double suited. I'm not sure what this guy's tanking with. Like any draw at this point, you should be getting it in, so I'm guessing a hand like King 5 maybe. Pretty solid flop. I will check a lot of my range on this board. So we do check, and likely just check call. I mean, we block all the straight draws as well. It's just going to be hard to get value, but we do see a bet from the button. And we are just going to call with this guy behind, try and price him in with some of his draws. It's a small bet too. I mean, I guess we could also raise, given that we block the straight draws, it makes it a lot more likely that he's betting with a queen. So given that those draws missed, I think I may check and jam this turn and see where we come out to. And now, after we check the turn, I think we likely want to bet small. We could go for value with some straights here, so bet like half pot. Might get a call by a queen. I just think he's going to check back too many queens. And he does snap call. So I guess we could have gone bigger. Let's see what he had. Yeah, and he did have the straight. So Maybe could have sized up a little bit, but not sure if we're getting a pot size bet call there. And we get the ISO from the small blind short stacked. It's a hand that we should just really fold, but when we think about it, this guy's likely gonna just call all the time. So we are getting pretty good value on a call. But I would not recommend this play, especially against such a short player, and then being out of position to the deeper player. And it's gonna be the problem that we just have to fold a lot of flops. It's pretty loose, but this guy's so tight on the button that usually we would expect this to be our button since he's playing less than 10% of hands, but of course when we open with the very marginal hand, that is when we get called. We're gonna complete here with the double pair and a multi-wet pot. Pretty easy hand to play. Flop a set. If not, we can just check fold. And we will not be calling this. One thing to watch out for when you, I mean, obviously that's the flop. When you open with a marginal hand that you probably shouldn't have, when you get 3-bet, even though you are in position and you're likely getting the correct odds, it is often best to just fold and not make your decision any worse. Especially with this guy behind who is very tight. He likely has a pretty strong range. We're coming up on the 30-minute mark, so we will just play around to our blinds and call it a day. See if we can get one more interesting hand in before we leave. Aces could be interesting. Nothing to do here. This is a little loose. Not sure if this is an open in the cutoff trip suited with the raggedy side cards. And this is a bad beat. If he had folded 94 b-bit. This top set I will not be checking back. And we flop 2-pair. I do kind of want to just check call his hand. We have king blocker for the straight. We have flush draw blockers. Backdoor flush draws, sorry. So we will check. Here I am actually just going to call and then stack off on some safe turns and use our positional advantage. That is one of them. And the benefit is now he's less likely to put me on aces, ace jack. So I think we just want to go big here now on this turn. We could have checked back, I guess, but there's just no one's checking back ace queen. It's better to just take the pot down. Here, he likely raised a draw. So I do want to bet small and try and keep him in with those draws. It's not really the river we wanted to see. And at this point, trying to think of hands he could call with. I obviously unblocked diamonds, and he's not folding a flush. I think a pot-sized bet does look a little bit suspicious. He may call with a jack. I think we just go for it. I think the likelihood of getting called is so small that it's better to just go big. And on the small occasions that we do, we get more value than the increased frequency in which he calls a smaller bet. And he snaps it off. And he had... Yeah, he snapped it off with a king. He snapped it off with 2 pair. So that was a pretty interesting hand to finish on. So we're gonna wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you can get the notifications on our next episode, and continuing to see how you can crush small stakes and move up as quickly as possible. And also check out PLOpokercoaching.com. And if you're really serious about your game, reach out to us and set up a free 30-minute consultation. And we will evaluate your game and your poker goals and see if you are a good fit and we are a good fit together to improve your game and start crushing the poker games too.